We're really lucky. We have, like, I talk to other coaches. I'm like, I have, like, the coolest clients ever. And they teach me things. You know, Ron talked to me about velocity, being velocity infinity. I have clients who share with me their expertise to help me be better at what I do. One of them is sitting right up front here, and her name is Tara Powers. And you saw, actually, Tara talk in the video here, which that was filmed before. And I'm like, oh yeah, Tara's gonna be up here, so you're seeing both sides. Tara has been in the training and development space for over 2 decades. The stuff that I'm teaching you guys about getting out there and selling training programs, she's been doing it for 20-some years with major companies, and she has so much content. That's why I teased her yesterday about how much content that she's developed. I mean, she could probably, if she printed out all of her content, it would probably wrap around the globe a few times. She's an international best-selling author, award-winning leadership expert, sought-after speaker, and I love this, crusader against boring, ineffective employee engagement initiatives and boring leadership training. And I think we've all been there, so thank you for that. She's worked with over 200 corporate companies delivering training programs and has worked with over 15,000 leaders building their programs and launching their initiatives. Major companies bring her in to redesign their curriculums for their training companies. And so on the last 4 years, Tara's company, Engage Leadership Program, has earned the prestigious recognition as a top 10 Leadership 500 award winner from HR.com. So she is a true thought leader, recognized in the corporate space. She's not here as a sponsor. She's truly here as a subject matter expert who, frankly, knows more than I do about how to deliver good content, how to create good content, how to train the trainer programs the right way. So, Tara, it's an honor. I'm going to get... This woman over here, Terry, has opened up the floodgates. I've cried like 3 times today now. But you are such a joy to work with. You're so amazing. She's one of my elite clients. I've worked with her for 2 years now. Her business has just grown so much. But she is so kind because she constantly teaches me new things. So please help me welcome her to the stage. You look amazing. You look amazing. I know. Don't cry. Don't cry. Here's your clicker.
Thank you.
Okay. Don't screw it up.
Hi, I love being up here. And Dr. Cynthia, who you're going to hear in a little bit, is checking out my posture. She's going to give me some tips. So thank you. Thank you for having me. It really is an honor to be on this stage and share it with my mentor. I mean, Angelique is my mentor and coach. And quite honestly, it took me 18 years to find her in doing my own business. And what you saw on that video was absolutely true. What I have gotten from her in the last 2 years in terms of business growth is more than I could have ever paid for, right? And much more than I would have ever gotten in my master's degree program in leadership development, which is what my background's in. But let me start by asking all of you a question here today. So how many of you would be interested in being able to make money when you don't have to actually be there? Yeah, what a great concept, right? So that is really what Train the Trainer programs can do for you. And you'll notice my 3 words under there: grow, accelerate, expand. Growing your business, if you plan to grow your business, this should be a tool that you're considering. If you want to accelerate your success, if you want to accelerate getting your message out there, if you want to accelerate actually reaching more people, this is a great tool to grow your business. If you want to expand your thought leadership, if you want to expand your brand to companies and people around the globe, this is a great tool to do that. So that's what I'm going to talk to you here today about. So you might not know me, but obviously you've gotten introduced to, a few times. My company is Powers Resource Center, and I also founded T3 School, which is Train the Trainer School. I've been working with Angelique for 2 years, and she has quickly figured out that I am a content junkie. And last night, as I was kind of doing the final preparations on my talk today, I thought, gosh, let me just see if I should list all the content that I've built over the years, and there was too much. It was like pages and pages and pages of topics. And I mean, there's probably literally hundreds of topics I've built content on over the years. It's something I like to do. I like to really immerse myself in understanding a particular subject, and I'm really good at building content. It's just, I guess, a gift I have. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. How do you take your content, how do you take your brilliance, your thought leadership, and turn it into a program that you can sell and teach other people how to deliver? And Train the Trainer, in my opinion, is becoming more and more popular, especially with corporate clients, and we'll talk about why in a minute. So let's just cover what we're going to talk about today. I have about 50 minutes up here, 47, and we're going to talk about why Train the Trainer should be something you should consider. And I'm going to make this a little interactive. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to have you doing some sharing with people at the table, because I think that's how adults learn, and it's really important for you to kind of get some feedback from other people. We're going to also talk about how do you develop a Train the Trainer strategy. So if this is something that you want to do, what is a way to approach that from a strategic perspective? How do you actually design and deliver a Train the Trainer program? And then finally, Train the Trainer actually provides you with a lot of upsell opportunities that you don't want to leave on the table. So let's go ahead and dive in to the first topic on there, which is why build a Train the Trainer program. But before I get started, I'm going to ask all of you, why do you think it would be a good business decision for you to build a Train the Trainer program? Raise your hand. Go ahead, right here. Yep.
Sorry. I think it's a great idea because companies need content that they can deliver across multiple, not verticals, but departments and team members. We actually just got hired by Google, actually, to create a Train the Trainer program.
Awesome. Say, yeah, Google. So let me just repeat what she said. Companies are looking for your content. They do not want to reinvent the wheel. You remember when Angelique just stood up here earlier this morning and said when she worked in corporate, they would take something that they had and repurpose it a million ways? They don't have the time nor the resources to develop the content normally, and they will pay good money for it. Right? If you have a process or a system that works, that's innovative, that's fresh, that's buttoned up, that's well written and put together, that you can hand over and teach someone how to deliver and provide them everything they need to be successful, they're going to buy it from you. And they've bought it from me many times, so I have that experience of doing that. And I'll share some of what I'm working on right now. But Google, great. Another idea, why Train the Trainer? How about, hold on, let me go in the back there, in the red. Right there. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there are only so many hours in the day that you can actually train and to grow your business financially and having others to work with you outside of to a corporation will grow your business.
Yes. So you cannot multiply yourself. So when you think about how do I build my business, how do I accelerate my growth, I got this awesome product, I got this amazing program, people are like loving it, Train the Trainer may be an option for you. And we're going to talk about a couple ways that might look. You can sell it to other coaches and consultants, or it's something you do for your own internal bench or your own internal team. Great. One more idea? How about in the back with the blue? Yeah?
It's passive income.
Passive income, yes. Thank you. So Train the Trainer, usually, depending on how you price it, and then we're going to talk about that too, pricing strategy, but Train the Trainer can provide you with income ongoing. Not usually to infinity, but it definitely can provide you with ongoing income once you sell it. And we'll talk about how you do that, which is usually through some type of licensing fee or certification program. Okay. So why build a Train the Trainer? I think we've built a business case. Do you feel like those are some good reasons, right? So how do you know if you are ready to build a Train the Trainer? The best reason to build a there's a couple reasons, but the number one reason is that you have something unique and valuable. So perhaps you have built a process that is proprietary to you, And it's pretty slick, and people really are getting a lot of benefit from it. They're able to change their lives. They're able to change their behaviors, and it works. And here's my take on it, and I've been doing this for a really long time. There is not a lot that isn't out there, right? There's not a lot of content on any topic you can imagine that isn't out there. But if you can take it and put your thought leadership around it and put your process to it that makes it innovative, that makes it interesting, that works in a way that people haven't seen before, then you have something valuable and unique to offer, right? The other reason is because you may meet coaches and consultants in here who are very interested in teaching what you teach, and they don't want to reinvent the wheel either. And they love your program, and maybe they've attended it in the past, and they see it as something they can add to their offerings to their clients because it's valuable and unique. So the question is for you to think about, because you're going to share this in a minute, what is that concept, that product, that program, that thought leadership, that idea that you have that is valuable and unique that could potentially become a Train the Trainer program, okay? Now, how do you actually know you're going to make money from it? And Angelique probably has a better strategy than I do, but my strategy is people are asking me for it, right? I go in and I train people on a particular program, and they go, oh my goodness, we need to do this with everybody. We need to roll this out to the whole company. Can you please make this a Train the Trainer? Is this available in the Train the Trainer? That's when I know I'm onto something, and I have someone that's going to buy it if I build it, right? So they want they want what I have, and they feel like they need to deliver it to the masses. They feel like they absolutely have to get this particular concept or way of managing or way of leading into the hands of all of their leaders so that there's consistency, quality, that they're doing things the same way. When I have those two things, they want it, they need it, they're asking for it, and they must have it, I will build a Train the Trainer, okay? That's one way that I do it. The other way is growing your bench or talking to other consultants or coaches and seeing if they want and need what you have, right? They have a gap in their offerings. So maybe they're a leadership consultant, maybe they're starting their business, they want to do leadership training, but they don't have a good assessment, and you do. And you could teach them how to use that assessment, and they buy that assessment from you. So they have a want, they have a need, and they must have an assessment. It really kind of closes the gap or the circle there around leadership development. That's another reason to build Train the Trainer. So there are two paths, and Angelique mentioned it when she was up here on introducing me, is you can sell to other coaches and consultants, and you can sell to corporate. And I believe there's pros and cons to both. But honestly, the pros well outweigh the cons. So let's talk about the pros and cons for other coaches and consultants. So one of the pros to selling to other coaches and consultants is you're getting your brand out there. You're getting your message out there, right? You're developing a team of people around the country or even potentially around the globe that are delivering your message. So those are all some amazing pros. In my opinion, the biggest con is that I don't know how good they are as a trainer or facilitator. And once I hand over my product or program to them, what are they going to do with it, right? How are they going to represent it? Are they going to do a good job? Are they good facilitators? Do they know, especially if I'm dealing with a program or topic that maybe is difficult or emotionally charged, or there's a lot of nuances to it, do they have that level of capacity and strategic understanding of how to manage that in a training environment? So that's what I see as the con, but you can address a lot of that in your Train the Trainer program, right? Setting them up for success. Corporate, very similar. Lots of pros. Same ideas, right? You get your brand out there, you get your message out there. Usually then they see you as a strategic partner. So once they've bought a Train the Trainer program from you, you become that go-to person, that strategic person. So I'm going to just share an example. I'm working on this right now. Angelique even helped me with this proposal because it was tricky. Sometimes train-the-trainer proposals can get tricky. That's the con, is depending on what corporate wants. They don't want to do a licensing fee. They don't want to, how do you actually price it? So I'm just going to share this example because I'm doing this right now with a company. They came to me. They have been through very, very expensive certification programs. They've put their people through extremely expensive certification programs. They got no results. They spent probably, I don't know, $100,000, $200,000, and it's not working for them. They're delivering it. It's just, they have to keep paying these recertification fees every year. They got to pay these licensing fees. They got to pay workbook fees. So there's tons of things they're paying for, and they're not getting the results they want. So I came in and I said, I think we should do a train the trainer, but we're going to customize it, and I'm going to share with you my strategy to make sure that you're going to get a return on investment. And the way I priced it in this particular situation is we're going to do one topic at a time. We're going to roll it out to your trainers one topic at a time, and I'm going to price it really expensive one time, and then you own it. You could take it and do whatever you want with it. I'm not going to bother with the licensing. It really is going to be, I'm going to set you up for success, but it's up to you to be successful with this product and this program. And so I'm in the process of developing that, but we just are in the middle of signing the contract where I will probably do that 7 to 10 times over the course of the next 2 years and be doing these train the trainer modules for them. So what's in it for you? I already mentioned you grow your brand, you build your bench, you expand your reach, you increase your income. In summary, I think the reward of train the trainer is great. The risk is low compared to what you can make from this, the way you build your brand, the way you build your thought leadership, the way that you become a strategic partner to your clients. This is a very good process to do that. Even if you're selling to coaches and consultants, you become their strategic partner. There's a couple of us in here that have become a strategic partner with a man who's extremely successful in Australia. He has amazing products and assessments and tools, and there's about, 15 of us in the United States that are using them. But when I have an idea, I go back to him and say, maybe you should develop something like this, and then I'll buy it from you. Because I don't want to develop it. I don't have that capacity to develop assessments and tools. That's not my wheelhouse. But he's a strategic partner to growing my business, and so I see him as such. So that's another opportunity. All right, so let me stop here. This is where I want to give you an opportunity to share. I want you to look around at your table. Who have you not talked to yet this morning? Okay, make sure no one's left out. If you have an odd number, make sure they're involved. I want you to answer these 2 questions. So what is that idea? What is that train the trainer idea that you have that's either a process that you've developed, thought leadership that you have on a particular topic, something that's unique and valuable, and which client path do you think would be the right one for you to sell to and why? Would it be better to sell through coaches and consultants, or would it be better to take it to corporate, and why? I'm going to give you just 4 minutes to talk with a partner. Make sure everybody has somebody. Okay. Okay, you have 1 more minute. All right, if you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. If you can hear my voice, clap 3 times. Woo! Okay, very good. Okay, I need everybody back. Thank you. You guys are dying to talk to each other. Okay, you'll get to do it again in a minute. All right, so this got your juices flowing, hopefully, get you thinking about some ideas, right, for how you might start planting this seed of a business model in your business. And I think it's a really great tool to be thinking about. Let's move on to strategy. So train the trainer strategy. This is a couple things I want to share about this. I'm going to share, your ultimate goal and strategy for a Train the Trainer program. And then I'm also going to share with you my strategy that I use when I'm building any program ever. So Train the Trainer or just a training workshop or whatever it might be. So the first thing that I want to point out is that your goal when you're building a Train the Trainer program is to take someone who may be an amateur at this topic or novice at this topic, or in my case, sometimes I'm training trainers in corporate who might be skilled, but they're not an expert in my topic. And I need to try to turn them into an expert. And the way that we have to do that is not just saying, I got this great product and this great, workshop, and I think you'll really like it. Here's some notes, here's some PowerPoint slides with some notes on it, and I think you'll be great. Pay me some money. See you later, right? That is not going to turn them into an expert. What's going to turn them into an expert is that I develop a Train the Trainer workshop that completely prepares them for success. And when I say that, what I mean is that they need to understand all the difficult questions people are going to ask. They need to understand all the obstacles that might get in the way when they're actually teaching this content. They need to understand how to present activities and make sure people are engaged, how to handle those questions that come from those activities. They need to be able to understand how to time themselves when running activities and actually running a program. So you have to really be thinking about that as your goal when you're developing a Train the Trainer, because you got to completely set them up for success. They're going out there with your brand. They're going out there with your product, and they're delivering it, right? You want to make sure that they do a great job. You want to be seen as that strategic partner. So that's your goal. That's what you start from. How do I equip these people who are going to be delivering my topic for success? What are all the things that I need to do? And I'll talk a little bit about that. But this is my strategy, and it's not rocket science, okay? It's very simple, but it is what I do with all my clients all the time. And there's a lot of things that go into this, but this is at a high level. When I am developing a Train the Trainer program for the first time, there is a lot that goes into alignment and assessment. I want to know, who is this going to be delivered to? What is the level of education, knowledge, and skill of the people that are going to deliver it, right? What is the environment they're going to deliver it within? What do I need these trainers to absolutely make sure they nail every time they're doing this training? Like, they absolutely 100% need to be able to do this. So I'm constantly asking those type of assessment questions, and when I build my Train the Trainer program, I'm aligning it around making sure I'm hitting those outcome objectives, those outcomes that I desire. So I'm addressing all of that in the Trainer program. All right? What are the difficult questions they're going to ask? What are the obstacles they're going to run into? What are people going to say, when we put out this thought leadership? And this is all based on your experience, right? You obviously have delivered it. You obviously know what people say. You obviously know what makes people get triggered and when that happens. You put all of that in there. All of that has to be part of your process. And then the trainers go and take action, and then I want to know how it went. So the other key thing I would recommend to all of you as you're building out a Train the Trainer program is that you have some type of feedback mechanism of how are they doing. Is the tools that you gave them and the information that you gave them to deliver this working for them? Are they successful? Are they getting the outcome objectives? Are they changing behavior? And if not, we need to adjust. Maybe I need to adjust the activities. Maybe I need to adjust the way I explain how to debrief something because they're not getting to the heart of the matter, right? So this is my strategic model I use when I build any content, including Train the Trainer. It's high level, but simple, and gets you kind of thinking about it. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to quickly share again. And I encourage you, maybe you could share with the same people or someone else at your table. But I want you to answer the question, if you think about that topic that you were just talking about, that is unique to you, if people were going to deliver it on your behalf, what would be 2 or 3 things that they absolutely must be able to do or must be able to deliver or must be able to talk about once they've gone through your Train the Trainer? So quickly share that with your pair again. What are 2 or 3 things that your trainers must be able to do when they after they go through your Train the Trainer process? Think about that. All right, I'll give you 1 more minute. Okay, go ahead and wrap up. All right, you're gonna answer one more question around this particular topic in a little bit. But what I'm getting you to do here is to start thinking about your strategy for what a train the trainer program might look like, right? And we want to make it very outcome based. We want to set up those trainers for success so that there are specific targets they're hitting and delivering and having the impact that you need them to have. They're having the results that you need them to have. All right, I do want to talk a little bit about pricing. As I mentioned, this is probably, I would say, part art, part science, the pricing of train the trainer programs. And what I have found is there may be more than this, but these are the three that I use. Okay, so these are the ones that I'll talk to. But the first is a licensing model. So some of you might be coaches in here or consultants, and you have maybe gone through a program that you pay a licensing fee every year to be able to use. Is anybody in here doing that? A couple people. Okay. So you pay an annual licensing fee to be able to use that content. That is one way to price your train the trainer. My preference is to just make it a flat fee. There are some companies that do it by person, and they have to try to figure out how many people went through the program, and it's a lot of built on the honor system. I don't think that really works very well, and it causes me a lot of stress, so I don't do that, okay? I mean, I'm just not going to do that, right? I'm going to charge you annually to use this product over and over again until you decide I'm going to move on to a different program. That's fine. The other way is a certification model. And so some companies will build a tool or a process. You have to go and be certified by them. You become a certified instructor of their model. And then, again, they could pay for assessments, they could pay for tools as they go. You might recertify people every year, every 2 years, but that's more of a certification model and not necessarily a licensing fee. So how many of you in here are certified on a particular tool or program you did not develop? Great. Has that been lucrative for you to be able to use that? Yes, right? I am certified, and Laura Davis is here too. We are certified in some specific tools, honestly, that are probably about 30% of my business revenue, right? And so I go back every year to their conference that they have for all their certified distributors because I want to know the latest and greatest, the updates. Sometimes they'll have a new version that they're putting out, and we might have to pay to upgrade, and I'm like, here's my money, because I am making a lot of money with their process and their tools. Really good idea. And then the third, which I am involved in with 2 clients right now, is a custom build. The way that I price that, and I talked to someone else in here about that, who's actually pricing that right now. When I'm working with a corporate client and they have a lot of custom work that they want done, and it's a train the trainer model or process that they want me to build, I will, in some cases, and I did in this case, just decide that it's easier for everybody if I just charge them a whopping amount of money up front, right? And then they own it. And I do that for a lot of reasons. Number one, they like it. They like that they don't have to pay these recurring fees, and it makes them more willing to pay the whopping amount up front. They do. Because then I'm like, you can have it. You own it. You can do what you want with it, right? I'm not going to be following up. I'm not going to be looking over your shoulder and making sure you're, doing copyright issues. None of that. You own it. That works well for me in a lot of cases. If it is my program, if it's my program that I've branded and buttoned up and packaged up, then that wouldn't be the best way to go. I would probably do more of a certification or a licensing fee, okay? I also get hired from other consultants who want to build a train the trainer, but they don't want to spend the time doing it because it takes a while. And so I custom build their product for them so that they can go and sell it and do their train the trainer, but they just don't want to do all the work to get there, which is fine. That's great. We can do that, okay? Yes. Mm-hmm.
How much of your custom build
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so how much is custom content? So again, I'm gonna go back, I've been doing this for 20 years. There is only so many ways you can give feedback and make it work, okay? So I can like put it into a 4-box model and make it look cool, but really, good feedback looks the same way, however you slice it and dice it. And so I might give it a name for the client. Maybe it's, Joe's feedback model or Joe's Crab Shack feedback model. But it is my experience and my knowledge of what is a good feedback model that I'm bringing into the content. So I do bring that to bear, but I might make the model specific to them, right? If they're in a manufacturing environment, I might call the model something related to manufacturing. If they're an airline, I might call the model that we're building or the program that we're building something related to the work that they do. So yeah, I'm taking my knowledge and I'm taking my content, but I'm tweaking it for their audience. And quite honestly, I don't feel like I'm giving away anything that's proprietary, right? Like I said, how many ways can you give feedback, right? So however, it was a product that was extremely proprietary, it was something that I built and developed, no one else has, then custom build would probably not be the way I would go. It would be more of a licensing fee. But I get asked to custom build a lot, yeah.
If I can be really gauche.
Sure.
Okay, because I'm new to trainer stuff. What would be a range that you would charge for a custom build?
Well, I'll share it with you because I'm doing that right now. So remember back to my strategy. I'm just going to share it because I'm not going to tell you the company, but the strategy is they want to bring in their subject matter experts. They are not trainers from all over the country to learn how to train on these different leadership topics. And that's fine, but what I first had to do is really assess the knowledge of these people. They're not trainers. So my very first stage in my proposal was I need to get these subject matter experts up to speed on what good training and facilitation practices look like. So I priced that totally separate. That's like a 1-day, 2-day workshop where I'm just getting them up to speed on what good training looks like, how to run activities, how to facilitate conversations, how to handle hecklers in the room, all of those kind of training basics 101. The second thing then that we are doing is I put together, module by module, we're rolling it out, and it includes a lot of things, but there's some upfront pre-work. I'm going to do a couple videos for them that they're going to be able to watch. This is the learners, by the way, not the trainers. The learners are going to watch some videos. Then I'm building this whole Train the Trainer program for these subject matter experts that they're going to go and deliver. I have follow-up tools that these trainers are going to be able to use that include more videos or things that I've written or articles, that type of thing. We have measurement built in. And so for one module, there's all these components. And then I come to this person's office. They're flying in these subject matter experts for a day with me on this topic. I'm going to train them on this topic, and then they're going to go out and deliver it over the course of like 2 months. And we're going to come back and do it again. And I'm charging them $20,000 to $25,000 per topic. And they're going to do 10 topics with me. Right, it's awesome. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, that's how we're rolling that out. But I add a lot of value. So I don't want you to think that you could just take a program and hand it over and teach them and it's 25. There's a lot of value I have at the front end, the back end, measurement, tools I use. So there's a lot going into that.
You're assuring success.
Absolutely, I'm ensuring success. That's correct. Yep. Okay, good questions. All right. So let's move on to topic 3, which is design and delivery of your Train the Trainer session. So let's say you got your topic, you know people want it, you've put your strategy together, you've built it, and you're going to deliver it. There's a couple things that I want to make sure that you understand. Is a Train the Trainer session is a little unique in its design. It's not like a workshop. Trainers are going to expect that you give them all of these tools so that they can be successful. So they're going to need a participant workbook. They're going to need any of the slides that you use, right? They're going to need a facilitator guide, and I'm going to show you an example of that in a minute. They're going to need access to any supplemental materials that you use, maybe posters, props, anything that you do in your training session when you do it, they need to have in a nice little package buttoned up and handed to them. Now, one way to do that is just to put everything on a zip drive, and they can go get things printed, makes it really clean, very easy to do. I would recommend that. But let me talk to you a little bit about a facilitator guide. So this is the main difference between a training workshop and a Train the Trainer program. And this is an example of a facilitator guide that we put together for a client last year. So it's corporate, it doesn't have all the, it doesn't look beautiful, but it gets the job done, I would say. But this was they were going through a ton of organizational change, and they did not have good communication tools. They weren't coaching people effectively, and they asked us to come in and build this program that their trainers could go out and deploy. And so a facilitator guide, these are the first 2 pages, but a facilitator guide absolutely has to walk the trainer step by step through everything. How long is the course? What does it look like on day 1? What does it look like on day 2? What is the pre-work that people need to be doing before they come to the session? What are all the materials that you need to have prepared before you train on this topic? What are the flip charts that you need to have prepared so that when you start your workshop, you are ready to go? What are the handouts and job aids that you need? So that is something that you would put in a facilitator guide. The other thing that you would put in a facilitator guide is helping the the trainer understand how to read this guide. So this is how to use this guide, right? This is how in this particular situation, I don't always do it this way, but this is how we designed it. So you'll notice that every page has the topic, how much time do you spend on this, what are the corresponding participant workbook pages, what are the corresponding PowerPoint pages. Connect the dots is almost like, here's information for the facilitator about where people might be in this process and how to make sure you're connecting all the dots of where they might be. Some main talking points for facilitating this topic, instructions for how to run an activity, instructions for how to debrief an activity, and instructions on how to transition to the next activity. I mean, I am giving them everything they possibly need. This is one example of what it looks like. So the way that we set this up per request of the client was they wanted PowerPoint and workbook, participant workbook pages on the left, instructions for the facilitator on the right. So in their facilitator guide, the facilitator could always look down and go, oh, I should be on one of these 4 slides, and the participants should be on one of these 2 pages, right? So that makes it really easy for them when they're facilitating to know that. And then, of course, my information is over here, stuff that they need to do. So that is generally what a facilitator guide looks like, and pretty much includes everything. I've seen facilitator guides that actually will put in there, say this. Seriously, right? Say this, exactly. So whatever, they can look different. This is one example that I've built over the years. Okay. Couple other key points about the Train the Trainer program. I make it unbelievably interactive because the way that I deliver it, my Train the Trainer program, is I'm putting the trainers not only through the program, so they have the participant workbook and they're going through the program, at the same time, I will stop at certain places and then I'll say, all right, let's stop now and put on our facilitator hat and let's go to the facilitator guide and let's talk about what I just did and how I just facilitated that. Let's talk about what's going to be difficult for you when you facilitate that. Let me share with you some of the common comments I get when I facilitate this that might throw you for a loop. And then I might have them do an activity to practice what I just taught them as a facilitator, and then I will give them feedback. So it is very, very interactive. And I'm a huge proponent, and what's worked best for me is that we stop throughout the program, throughout the workshop. I'm putting them through the workshop, but we're stopping and putting on their facilitator hat and then talking facilitation or training. And then we go back to the next section in the workbook, and I put it through them as they're a participant, and then we stop. And then they ask questions, and we go. If I tried to go through everything, they're not going to remember it, right? They're not going to figure out, how do I apply this, and what happens when this comes up? So there's a ton of interactivity. There's a ton of activity practice. And the last piece is I get them extremely familiar with the materials that I just handed to them. And one way I love to do this is that I will give them like a question and say, hey, okay, at the end of this workshop, your learners have these 5 questions. Tell me where you find that in the facilitator guide, right? So I have them do teach backs. I have them go back and talk through the information. There's a lot of ways that you make sure they are 100% comfortable with the materials you've provided them, okay? So that's what my Train the Trainer program looks like. Whatever your workshop timing is, so let's say when you deliver this, it's 4 hours, double that for the Train the Trainer. All right, you're definitely going to spend at least a day with them, training them on a 2 to 4 hour program, maybe longer. So double or even, I don't know about triple, but you're going to spend a day to a day and a half going through the materials in this way, which I have found is how adults learn best. Okay? All right, our last pair share, we have about 9 minutes left. The last pair share that I want you to talk about. Remember, you just thought about what are 3 things that my trainers would need to be able to do to deliver my program effectively? What is one activity that you think you could build into your Train the Trainer program that would help move your trainers towards expert in one of those areas they absolutely must be able to deliver? So think of an activity. What would be an activity you might have them practice that would really help them learn that material and be able to deliver it? So quickly share that with someone at your table. What'd you say? All right, you got about 1 more minute. Okay, go ahead and wrap up your conversation, please. Thank you. Reel it back in. We're reeling it back in. Got a question? Okay, we have a couple minutes for questions. So if we can reel it back in, we'll still have a couple minutes for questions. Thank you. All right. So hopefully these conversations are sparking some good ideas for all of you. I'm glad to hear that. That makes me really happy. Let me talk about the last piece that I want to mention today, and then we'll have a couple minutes for questions. So Train the Trainer does allow for a lot of upsell opportunities, in my opinion, okay? Back to that example that I shared, the one I'm building right now, one of the things that I built in as an optional upsell was to come in and observe the subject matter experts actually doing the training and offer them one-on-one coaching. Yeah, good idea, right? So make that you can either build it right in or I made it optional. But in terms of having people deliver that aren't normally trainers, I think that's a really smart idea to allow me to make sure they're investing all this money. Why not pay me to come out and coach with the subject matter experts the first time? The other key thing that you might build in is support packages. So you might build in support to the trainers before the training. They get really nervous. I've done this a lot. They need to talk to you and deal with all of their concerns and fears, and you're coaching them along the way. And then you might even build in support after they deliver it. Now, if you're delivering this to a lot of different people, to a lot of trainers, you can even schedule a 30-day follow-up call after they've delivered it the first time to gather their feedback. This is a great way to get your measurement that I talked about in my strategy, to see what needs to be updated, what needs to be adjusted. Another opportunity to upsell is next year when you upgrade your topic and you have some new research or information to make it kind of a 2.0 or a 3.0, you now have an active audience to go back and sell that to, right? So there are a lot of potential opportunities to upsell. You may be able to take this topic, and if you do a bang-up job, they go, what else do you got, right? Like, this was amazing. Can we buy more like this from you? So lots and lots of opportunities to upsell when you do a great job setting up people for success, okay? So we got a couple minutes. I think we'll have 2 or 3 minutes for questions, but I want to just leave you with this quote, because wherever you are in your business today, and whatever the future is that you are dreaming about your business can be, you want to really think about what seeds am I planting now in my business model that are going to allow me to be that in the future, that are going to allow my business to grow where I don't have to be there all the time, right? So if this is your vision for your business, I believe Train the Trainer should be part of your model, or you should start thinking about it, okay? And you can do this, we can help, right? T3 School, this is something, I obviously have a lot of experience around and happy to talk to more of you about it. So we have about 2.5 minutes. I'd love to open it up for some questions. I know you had one, yeah.
So, when you have content that is reliant a lot on your delivery, the individual that you're delivering, you're coaching, you're training.
Here we go. We got the mic coming up. He's saying when you have content that relies a lot on how you deliver it. And that's all I got. Okay.
Yeah, so when you have content that relies on your delivery,
Yeah.
the way you nuance it, the experience that you've had to be able to address the issues, how do you put that content into a train-the-trainer model? Because some of that is basically your experience and the nuances and that you've been exposed to say, okay, especially if you're dealing with behavioral issues, right?
Yes.
On teams or whatever the case may be, where's the processing? I mean, that's to me what I think is, I think there's a lot
Okay.
of great things in it. It's just, how do you do that?
Yeah, all right. So I have two comments. Number one, and I don't mean this in any way to, put you down at all, but I think one of the things we all have to let go of is that we're the only people that can do a good job, okay? So that's number one. Number two, whatever your experience is that led you to be an expert on this topic, I bet that you could find people that had a similar experience to you and can use their own story to get the point across. So you might build into your train the trainer, maybe there's some onboarding that has to take place. Like, I can only have certain people that have dealt with this type of loss or have dealt with this type of situation to deliver this because of the example that you gave. And they add their own story to it. And they make it really their, but still the framework of the content is the same. It's just their experience plugged in there. So those are my two. I hope that's helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Hi, Tara. So I know yesterday in our sharing in our table, you had mentioned that you also have worked with local governments, with city governments. So my question is sort of a spin-off of this gentleman here. And I don't know if this is my mindset issue. For me to train the trainers in a program that I've developed with local governments, do the trainers need to be, those outside coaches that I would train, do they need to be people that have experience in local government as well?
I think that's a question you would have to answer. So if what you're training on is so very specific to understanding how things go in government, then the answer would be yes. But my opinion, because I've worked with government a lot, is they have the same people problems that everybody else does. Yeah. And so, you know, I guess I don't know exactly what your topic is, but a lot of this stuff, there's just some small nuances that you can do to tweak it to make it the government employees or the government contracts really feel like, oh yeah, they know government. But it's a lot of the same problems, right? Yeah. It's a lot of the same issues.
Yeah, and instead of marketing a product, it's really about how you're communicating your services.
Yes.
So
and
those nuances.
Yes,
yeah.
And I have seen people, even on their website, you guys may have seen this, people that build programs will say, for government clients, for corporate clients, right? So that might be, if you're going after both, you could even separate it that way, and you take the same program, but you nuance it and maybe brand it slightly differently. But in terms of the trainers, not knowing exactly what you're training on, if it's people related, I think a lot of it is the same.
Thank you.
Sure. One more question. How about in the back there? Okay. Hi.
Okay. Oh, yes. I won't hold the mic. So I come out of the learning and development world, too. Do you ever use the master trainer model where you get somebody in the organization really up to speed and then they're responsible for going from there?
I have not, but that's a great idea, Lori, to do that. So you might have some really amazing facilitators in one of the organizations that you work for, and they become kind of your go-to, and then they're responsible for doing the training. So you're actually training them on how to do a train the trainer program. Yes, and that's really helpful for global companies, and it's really helpful for much larger organizations where you have, I mean, sometimes those people are better than me. You know, trainers-wise, they're amazing. So I could go through a train the trainer program and they'll go, oh, I know a great way I could deliver this, or I got a great example I might add here. And so they really can then take it and make it specific for their organization and put that cultural piece around it. So yeah, that's another great example that I didn't mention, which is the master facilitator example. Great. We're almost out of time, but I'll take one more question. Yeah. How much seasoning or a track record do you have before you transition to this model? You got to be an expert in whatever it is you're building. And I mean, know it inside and out. There is nobody that knows it better than you, right? Because I cannot train someone else on how to deliver this program if I do not know every single thing that could go wrong with it, every single thing that could go right with it, the best ways to deliver it, the best ways to answer questions and deal with the hecklers and the objectors and all of that. So I would say you have to be fairly seasoned in your process and program to be able to build this and train others on it. Okay. All right, thank you so much. Sorry, we're out of time. Thank you, everybody. Good luck.